Fucking
Now,
it's science. It was a scientific boner that he had. And he was looking for other boners because he was a boner detector.
I didn't have one. Do you love the movies? Did you love the search for the perfect rental on a Friday night? Have you enjoyed the new version of this, searching through countless streaming services for the perfect movie? I know we do. Welcome to Mike and Anthony's Soda Pop Culture Club. Me, Mike, along with my co-host Antoine.
No, pots and pans.
Pots and pans. Bring our take on a classic movie every Monday from the 80s, 90s, and beyond, during which we'll play the game, except today, because this fucking movie has no reviews.
So I automatically win.
So I don't know how that works.
Default. I win by default.
But we will open up a 6-pack of favorite scenes. We also point out a few generic scenes as well. And at the end of the movie, we will rate the movie 1 to 24 cans. 1 can is being beaten by some weird guy with looks like a radio antenna. And 24 cans is drinking some hooch in the basement while listening to phone sex.
With your friends.
With your friends.
With a bunch of other dudes.
With a bunch of other dudes at a sausage fest. But before we get to all that, we want to let you know we want to do the movies you tell us to do. We really do. We want you to tell us what to do, and there's a few ways you can do that. The best one is join our Patreon, and then just say you want us to do a movie when you're in there. Then you suggest it there. We do it. That's how it is. We put it on the schedule. And the other one that's really good is that it's a fast pass. We do it the next thing we do. It's $25 you send us through our Venmo or PayPal at Soda Pop Culture Club, and we'll do that movie right away. And the third way is just to suggest it on our website, where we have sodapopcultureclub.com, where we have our merch, our movies, where you can make those movie suggestions, like I said, and we have, what else? We have a schedule. So, but if you go in there and do it, we will eventually do it probably, but it'll be on our time when we feel like it.
And just throw in there, just so everybody is clear on this too, when you do the fast pass, when we say it's the next one, it will be the next episode that comes out. It's not, we're going to record it next and then release it.
It's literally the next.
It will be the next one that you hear.
The next thing you hear.
Unless you do a fast pass on Sunday and the next episode comes out the next day.
Yeah. You got to, okay, I guess we got to put a caveat there. We record on most of the time on Friday. So if we don't have it by Friday, it's probably going to be the week from the following Monday. So there you go. Does that sound good?
That sounds good.
Because we got to have it by a certain time. Even then, if it was on a Saturday, we might be able. Who knows? You never know. We can make things happen sometimes. But a couple more things. Don't forget to share the show with your friends. Check out our Instagram at Mike and Anthony, where we put Anthony's feet on there so that people can get off to him, kind of like Johnny did in the last movie. We didn't talk about it, but Johnny Be Good, had Georgia Fish's feet off with his face. You can see pictures of that, Anthony's feet and people's faces, and people really get off on that. And I think it's
foot in his face. It's called a karate kick.
He's right. It's where we practice our karate in our dojo, but really, we actually post memes that go along with the movies we discuss.
Sweep the face.
Sweep the face. Sweep the face. Finally, we need you to go to Apple Podcasts and hit us up for a 5-star, any star review and a comment, because it'd be super awesome. It helps the show out. And Anthony has something he wants to say about that.
Also, if you just leave us a comment on Apple Podcasts
with a review,
and a comment, and in your review, let us know the movie you want to do. That counts as a request.
We will do that movie. We will do that movie. You'll get put on the schedule.
We'll call that a faster pass.
Semi-fast pass.
Next week, but it's a semi.
It's a semi. It's not full on. It's a semi.
Right.
Anthony's used to that because that's pretty much his life. He can only do semi.
It's a semi. It'll be enough to get it in.
It'll be enough. Well, I don't know. He's not. I don't think he has enough. That's all I can say. Are you ready for the trailer on this, though?
I got plenty.
Whatever. Here you go.
You got about as much as my mini schnauzer's nub of a tail.
Here's the trailer.
The Regis School for Boys, where the country's best families
Hey, bring that back here.
send the world's worst students.
If you're gonna kick me out, kick me out.
They'd make 4 prep schools in 4 years. You're trying for the Guinness Book of Records?
But these boys are in for a real shock.
Fuego! If you do not produce my father unharmed, I will begin executing the hostages. I'm sure by now you have discovered who their parents are.
Chairman of the Armed Services Committee, Vice Chairman of the Republican Party.
What does your father do, William?
Contractor?
According to this, he owns the 3rd largest construction company in the world.
Yeah, he's a contractor.
My boys, many of them, they have a real problem with authority.
Are you with me or not?
Of course we'll meet you.
But if you get a shot, we're gonna be PO'd.
I have the assault force in a staging area 5 minutes away.
You have seen these orange wires. These are wired to explosives.
The kid can get the other students out of the line of fire.
If any one of these wires is cut, they will explode!
This kid has been kicked out of 2 schools.
Well, 3 schools.
Yeah. No. That's a detonator.
He's got guts. He's a leader. When Billy says he can do it, I gotta believe he can.
It's the signal. All right. We're really gonna do this? You bet.
Toy soldiers.
Toy soldiers.
There it is in all its glory.
Yeah, it is. It's all its glory. So when did you see this? Tell me.
You know, I'm trying to remember. It feels like a rental to me.
Okay. So you rented this at some point?
VHS, probably.
A long time ago? I have
Yeah.
never seen this movie until we watched it.
Really?
Yep.
So now that you've seen it, let me say, and the end of last episode, you know, I called this Stand By Me 2, Gordy Goes
Yes.
to Prep School. So it's funny because I did come up with my own fan theory about this movie.
Yeah.
To me, Toy Soldiers, it is Gordy going to school. It's one of his stories.
Oh.
This would be a story that Gordy would come up with. Terrorists hijack his school. Sean
Yeah.
Astin is his new Chris Chambers.
Yeah.
This would also explain, because it's Gordy's story that he's telling, why he has such a shitty accent in this movie. He's trying to be like he's from...
Is that one of your generics already? We haven't even got into that part of this.
His dad's a crime boss.
Yeah. I was going to say his accent was a crime. I thought that's what you were going to say.
I'm not going anywhere without my friends.
But yeah, no, I get it. That's a good fan theory. Definitely. I don't know. I'd never seen it, so this is fresh eyes for me. I don't know why I didn't. It wasn't. I don't think it was that popular back then. That's probably why. It really, you go by the numbers. Tell them the
But
numbers.
I'm surprised that it's Sean Astin. It's Will Wheaton. I mean, what the fuck? And let's get into that later.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. Breakdown by the numbers, directed by Daniel Petrie and starring Sean Astin, Will Wheaton, Louis Gossett Jr., Keith "The Dishes Are Done Man" Coogan, T.E. Russell, and Andrew Divoff. Toy Soldiers was released on April 26, 1991, taking in $15.07 million at the box office against a $10 million budget. It scores 6.6 out of 10 on IMDb and 38% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Not a good Rotten Tomatoes score, and it
Not
didn't
so much.
didn't kick ass in the theaters either. But it wasn't upside down. It wasn't like Johnny Be Good. But Johnny Be Good's budget was more than this made in the theater. So I don't know how
Johnny
that
Be
works.
Good was Johnny Be Bad. So
Johnny Be Bad. It had its problems, but when you compare like the back to back, when you look at the numbers and you're like, how did I not see this?
right.
And it made money, and how did I see that and it didn't make money?
This is a
You know?
fucking Scorsese film compared to Johnny Be Good.
It is really. I'll be honest. It could skew your score, but it didn't for me. I will say that. I will say that.
Yeah, we don't compare.
It's well. I mean, I didn't compare, but I will. You know what I want to do though, because how this movie opens up, I want to give my first 6-pack, and it kind of
Okay.
is a through line in the movie, but it is something we see right away, and that is I like the commitment in this movie early on to show the kills and that they will kill indiscriminately.
Mhm.
Like they actually show it. They don't just girl falls off and we see see her land and there's a car in our way so we can't see it. No, we see the
Right.
bloody mess. We see the person get shot. We get to see the detail. And I was thinking earlier, because I was rewatching it before we got on here, that you have to appreciate that because you got to see some of what you like about horror in this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that has to be.
No,
That
but
has to be.
it's not horror though.
It's
I'm-
not, but
Blood and
man,
guts- Blood and guts in a movie just regularly, it doesn't really do anything for me. It's more about horror.
I
Blood and guts in
wondered.
a horror movie. Okay.
I was thinking, was this trying to bridge the gap between because at the time Steven Seagal was big, between what a Steven Seagal movie had with its violence and a teen movie. That's what, because with the way they showed the kills and we saw the bullets go through the head, we saw the
Right.
slash of the throat, we saw
Oh.
the person go off the building, and you see the mess. We saw the results.
So we had Hard to Kill. This is Hard to Graduate.
Yeah, that's what it should have been called. Hard to Graduate.
It's
Yeah,
funny
and
'cause
you know
when I see
that is a thing.
the cover to this, Toy Soldiers, I'm like,
Yeah, it looks like a spy movie.
it looks like School Ties.
Yeah, like I don't understand.
Everybody
It's like
stand
the
up.
title to me didn't fit this movie because, yeah, and I'll get into that.
Oh, I
a
think
little
it
bit
fits
later.
the movie completely. It's a bunch of kids.
Nah, I'll get into it
Turn them
later.
into soldiers. What the hell you want?
Whatever. Okay, we'll get into that in a little bit. But I do want to say one of the things is the predictability of the bad guys, right? Like what they are. Because
Yeah.
in the 80s, but this is a 91 movie, but in the 80s, there were basically a couple different bad guys, right?
Mhm.
If it's not the Russians, it's the mobsters, the terrorists, or the drug dealers.
Right.
That's pretty much it. So we
That's
have
what you
terrorists,
have,
drug
yes.
dealers. What was that?
Unless it's Top Gun, which they're unnamed. You don't know.
Yeah. But
No, we
you
assume
assume it's Russians. You assume it's the Russians,
No,
right?
you assume
Like,
China in Top Gun.
do you?
Yes.
I think the new one you do, but not the old one.
Mm-mm.
The MiG, because they
Yeah.
were MiGs.
Just saying.
I'm just saying the old one you assumed Russia. The new one
Pretty
you
sure they
assumed.
said that it's assumed China for Top Gun, the original. Pretty
I
sure.
don't know.
Anyway.
I thought it was Russia. Whatever. We don't know. So that's the point, though. It's the big bad. How about communist regime?
Foreign bad guys. That's
Foreign
it.
communism regime of some sort. That's it.
I say Jehovah's Witnesses are in those MiGs.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, shoot them down.
My mother has a friend who was with us at trivia, and she for years was in the Jehovah's Witnesses, and she's out, and she loves being out of it, and she can celebrate Halloween, and she's always was a funny person. I always wondered why they were involved in that stupidity back then.
It's
I'm so
because
glad.
one fucking person gets in it and they suck everybody else they can in.
I know. She's out though, and I'm so happy for her. I think my mother's probably the one that got her out of it, to be honest, because you know how
Right.
I am, and just
So-
makes sense.
Just so you guys know, here at Soda Pop Culture Club, we condemn the Jehovah's Witnesses and fuck that whole thing.
So if you are one, we don't apologize.
We want you to change.
We want you to get a hold of us, and we'll get you some people who can help you get out of it.
You don't have to live like a refugee.
I can find you resources that can help you. I do know
Yes.
that.
It's called common sense. We'll get you some.
Okay, so what I want to get into is my I have another 6-pack because it's early on in the movie.
I've
And I
got
think
a
we-
six
go
pack
ahead.
and a generic, but you go first.
Well, I think we probably both have the same 6-pack, and it's the phone sex line.
No, we don't.
We do not. Okay. But I want to say something about that is that you have to appreciate the phone sex thing, at least in our generation, right? Because with the complete unfettered access to the worst elements on the web for recent generations, I think they've lost the creativity of the imagination, because with this phone sex thing, you see how they're, when she asks, she makes it like a choose your own adventure, right?
Right.
Like, and they're asking, and one says, no, take them off. And one's
Why
like,
don't you go ahead and leave them on?
no, go ahead and leave them on. So they have the imagination that they're envisioning something. And I think with the way it is now, I mean, you're able to see shit that you shouldn't see.
Literal shit.
Literally, sometimes. So to me, it's kind of refreshing that you see something that still lends its imagination. Of course, it probably costs $4.99 a minute to the school's phone bill, but
no, to the schools.
Yeah,
school phone line
phone
he
bill.
taps
Yeah.
into.
Yeah. Go ahead. You had a generic though, right?
First, my 6-pack.
Go ahead.
The brilliance of the Scope liquor.
Oh, yeah, because they were drinking while they were doing it. Yeah.
Asshole, it is mouthwash. What was it? 2 parts.
4 parts
schnapps, 4 parts vodka.
Yeah.
1
part creme de mint. 1 part creme de mint.
Yes, for that minty flavor.
Oh, I had mint schnapps.
For the color.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. I might actually try that recipe sometime. I just want to know what it tastes like right
I
now.
wonder what that's called. I wonder what that is.
It's called mouthwash hooch.
Toy Soldier? The Toy Soldier?
Yes.
I wonder if those are different weights, though, of like if one would float because of the creme de mint and, like, I wonder if you'd have a tiered shot.
You got to just keep doing this, shaking it up.
Do you like that? Okay, speaking of the shaking it up, did you like the first prep school etiquette, yanking off, beating off in the bed, wait until everyone goes to bed, or wait until your roommate's asleep? Or
I mean, that's the way it should always be.
What is your etiquette for that if you were in prep school? What would your etiquette have been? Would you have waited for them to do it and then do it yourself, or would you wait till they're asleep? How would you have approached your yank session in prep school?
I'm going to the bathroom.
Is that in their room though?
I'm not they have bathrooms there.
I know, but it isn't in their room. I think they share a communal one.
I'm not whacking off in a room with anybody in it.
So if okay,
so hold on. This actually leads into my generic, which is the phone sex.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, what the hell? I'm sorry. Who wants to have fucking phone sex with their other buddies sitting right there together? What kind of circle jerk is going on here?
That's it, man. I was wondering.
Is this like you're plan on doing the phone sex, save it up, and then take those memories with you to your room? Or
and
what?
not one dude had a boner, right? Like you couldn't see one.
No, they didn't. Were you looking for boners?
Hey, I want to see if there's some authenticity in this movie.
Fucking looking for boners?
For boners, because I was like, dude, someone's got to be aroused by this, and none of them were.
No, I love this because you're admitting right now you had a boner during that scene, and you're looking to see if anybody else did.
No, I didn't. But back then, when you're 14 or
don't say back then
age,
because you just watched it for the first time, you had a fucking boner during that scene, and then you're looking
when
to
you're
see
a
if anybody else
teenager
did. You wanted to know it wasn't just you.
When you're a teenager full of hormones and some chick is acting like she's touching her soft pink parts and getting all hot, I'm sorry, but back in those days when we didn't have, like I said already, we had to use our imaginations. Those kids should have a boner. They should be sitting there at full mast. That's all I'm saying.
Ladies and gentlemen, our second disclaimer of the day, other than hating the Jehovah's Witnesses, is Mike had a boner recently watching Toy Soldiers.
I did not. I was
fucking liar.
It was science. I was watching the movie. It was science for the movie.
Fucking lied. Science. It was a scientific boner that he had, and he was looking for other boners because he was a boner detector.
I didn't have one. But it was.
Mike is impotent.
That's correct. I'll take that.
Go with that.
I'll go with that because that way at least you don't believe I had a boner.
I do believe it still.
So
because I remember watching it as a kid, and I did have a boner during that scene.
Oh well, there you go. Makes sense. I told you. But I was watching to see if they got one because man, those high school kids. So you would think when they stood up and they, like, if you're Louis Gossett Jr.'s character, you have to be looking at him like shaking your head, like, oh gosh, because he heard the call, like like, and you gotta wonder, does he know what he's walking into too? Because like you said, that could have been some fucked up circle jerk shit.
It could have been. Might have got something on his face.
That could have been
like you just walked in and a load just is coming right at you.
And and it could have been, and who knows, there could have been the one person in the group that's what they wanted. They didn't really care about. They got hot because the other dudes are getting hot. Because the odds are one of them's probably gay, right?
You go with the odds, don't you?
Yeah, I always go with the odds. Hey, to me though, if their friends know that and they still are okay with them getting off on them getting off, to me that's just all symbiotic. It's all a good thing. Hey, you brought it up. Anyways.
I have nothing left to say to you right now.
Anyways, after this though, what I do like is he's like, "Oh, we got to get back at him like right away." They can't even wait till the next day, and they do the office prank. Did you like the office prank?
Oh yeah, that was good.
I enjoyed the fact that it was appreciated by the headmaster.
Yeah,
Like he thought it was an elegant prank that he wanted to laugh at and work all day at his office out there.
I mean, yeah, you're not damaging anything.
Yeah. You just did something funny.
Right.
Very funny. So yeah, I appreciated that he was like that. So to me, that was a good prank.
Banana peel.
But it was in the trash can, so I didn't understand that.
That's still, it's making light of it.
Yeah. I just think he should have, like, if he'd have just thrown the banana peel on the ground, that would have been funny. But it was in the trash can, so I didn't reconcile that when I was watching. Like, why is he angry? He put it where he's supposed to. Where else is he going to put it?
Because he's
on the desk. I could see
what's going on and not taking it seriously. And anyway,
whatever.
You're just mad there was no boners in that scene.
No, I was angry about that. But we quickly get to the point of this movie where because the beginning of the movie, you have the bad guy wants his father. So now his big plan is to go to this school because one of the kids there that we learned is the son of the justice. Donahue is the son of the justice who's presiding over the case that this Cali guy's, Luis Cali's father, is in, and he's in jail for. So he comes to the school and takes it over. It's pretty simple. I mean, it's a simple plot. Now, of course, the Cali guy, they didn't get all the information because, like we said, we already knew this because the guy was moved. So, but all the other kids are kind of fucked. That's kind of sucks, doesn't it? Though, if that kid would have been there, only that one kid would have been harmed, and all the other ones would have been left alone.
Right, but now you got to take over the whole school.
I know. Just think, they probably would have done all the shit they did to get there, but they might have left sooner and not blown things up. Like, and what's his name would still be alive from Stand By Me. So there you go.
There's no movie if you do that, and Gordy doesn't have a story to tell.
I know, but
remember, this is Gordy's story.
Yeah, it's just the trolley problem. We already talked about this. Do you look at the needs of the group over the needs of an individual, and always side with saving the group over the individual,
especially if they have boners.
Yes, although Donahue wasn't with them when they were getting the boners. So I mean, yeah, there's that.
Off somewhere else having his own boner.
Now, once this happens, though, they bring in some people. Can you take the grandpa from Son-in-Law seriously in this movie? When you hear him talk, I just hear him Sugar Plum, and I can't.
No, I can. Yes,
I can't. I just can't. Same with the headmaster. He's from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of when Indiana Jones says he's a master of disguise and he can blend in anywhere. And that one movie, I think it was The Last Crusade.
I can take him serious. The grandpa I can take seriously because you're Sugar Plum and all that, but he's also like, I'd rather die. Between that and him and me, I'd rather die. That's soldier shit right there. I'd rather die than have Pauly Shore kiss me.
It was just so hard though, man. It's so hard for me to watch it and be like, And that movie, obviously, this came out before that. If I'd have seen this before, I'd have a different.
I know it was so hard for you while watching this movie. I already get that. No, I'm so good.
So hard. Now, how about Arlie Ermy in this? I mean, once again, he plays his role. He always plays in pretty much every movie that he's ever in. I wonder if he ever went out of type. Because even when he was in Saving Silverman, that was type, even though he was a coach. I mean, he ended up being a gay homicidal coach, but he was a coach.
Which is funny. Isn't he the voice in Toy Soldiers, the other Toy Soldiers?
Yes. So I'm saying. He's in Full Metal Jacket. He plays the role. Like I say, he plays good that type, and he's really good at it, though.
But here's the thing. It's funny because, people think that, that's a bad thing, being typecast. But here we were just talking about Johnny Be Good, and that failed because nobody believed Anthony Michael Hall is a jock.
Yeah. So maybe typecast works if it.
Which also here, do you picture Sean Astin as this badass hero savior?
No, I don't. So there you go. I
right.
don't. Frodo or whatever his name was in that movie, Samwise. Samwise, I don't picture as the hero.
But he was kind of the hero, one of the heroes in the Goonies.
He was, but that was different. He was a little younger. It was a skewed younger thing. Now he's supposedly grown up with the hairy chest.
But he didn't actually grow up.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
He grew out more than up.
Yeah. I think
his problem is, as far as being like a hero action-ish kind of person in this, Tom Cruise has already cornered the market. You cannot have another 4'5" action star male.
That's what I was going to say. I don't even think he's as tall as Tom Cruise, and that's why. He's so short. Now, I do want to go into a fact, and then after they take it over and they get put into rooms, they get put into the room of Yogurt. Is his name?
Yes.
The kid named Yogurt. I don't know the name of the actor specifically, but a few years later, he would be in a car accident at the age of 19 and spend 4 years in a coma.
It's crazy.
Before they pulled the plug on him. I guess someone broadsided his Toyota while he was in it. So
that sucks.
That sucks. And sometimes when you're looking at these, I look at the cast and I try to see things that are interesting, and I always look to see who's alive or dead, especially when we do older movies, because sometimes you run around across these things where it's like, man, that sucks. Mm-hmm. Guy barely got to have a career before life.
What's his name? I can't remember his name right now, from Star Trek.
Oh yeah, the guy who rode his Jeep
got crushed.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The Russian kid.
Yes.
Yeah, he was. That's too bad because that changed probably the way those movies went. They had to redo that.
But I mean, he was a great actor too.
Yeah, he's good. So it sucks, Sometimes you lose good people, and Yogurt wasn't bad in this, so
no.
He could have grown up to be the one that we liked. Phelan, right. I think his name is Phelan. Something Phelan. Phelan. But yeah, he could have been the guy that we're actually into, that we'd liked. Like River Phoenix ended up being the guy, but then even he died tragically. Like the good ones die young.
Mm-hmm.
Good ones die young. Why is Johnny Depp still alive?
Well, we know why you're still alive.
Only the good die young. Okay,
exactly.
You're going to live longer than me based on you,
Probably.
So obviously
Probably.
I'm better than you.
Probably.
I'm better. I'm gooder than you, right?
I'm going to be a fucking 130. The way I'm
probably.
Going.
But here, the thing is, they take over the school, right? These terrorists, mm-hmm. And now the kids. Billy Tepper, the Sean Astin's character, he's kind of like a leader, so they decide to start getting information on him and running around. And one of the things is that they take their food to him. And I have your generic called here.
I already did my generic, but okay.
No, I'm going to call your other generic because I'm surprised you didn't.
No. I know.
You don't think this is a generic, Anthony?
Oh, I absolutely do. You already know that.
Spitting on the food, even if it's criminals, he finds it generic.
Yep.
Spitting on the food.
Don't do that to me in movies, man.
Even if it's the bad guys, he's against it. Think about it.
Yeah, I'd rather you just fucking shoot them.
Yeah. Just shoot him. Just shoot him. Now, I have some comments on their big plan. The big plan is information gathering, right? That's what they're first into. They kind of loosely talk about the chip thing, but they didn't really say that was a plan because they kind of went away from it. But the plan of information gathering and the plan getting that to the authorities, of course, when he gets to the authorities, why do they ever listen to the person who tells them they need to get back? I've never understood that because they don't trust who he is. I mean, he's a kid. He brings you shit. And they even called over to the one guy, and the guy says, yes, I know the guy. He's good.
Yeah, but it's more that a hostage came out. We don't want to send them back in. That's their mindset.
Yeah, if he tells you he has to go back, you have to assume that is the correct thing. You can't think that you know more than he does about what's going on in there. That's what he obviously knows more. He gave you a book about it. And it probably says every hour they count us.
You don't think adults in the military think they know more than everybody else? especially
Yeah.
a prankster kid.
Yeah, I would agree.
Probably fucking drunk on mouthwash.
Yeah, that's true. They probably think he's drunk. I will say but about that scene when he tries to get back and he's late, right? And they're counting the people.
Yeah.
Why is it that the black kid, the only black kid in the movie, is the one who tries to get counted twice? Why? Did you notice that?
That is
I was like, I'm like thinking, think this through. I'm not saying that he couldn't make a good count twice person.
Right.
But in a group full of nondescript white people, pick another white kid and put him over there and maybe pull his ponytail back or something. I don't know.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, play Guess Who. Take the glasses off.
Yeah. As I say, a basic white kid would have been a better thing. Not the one black kid in the school. It's like, put him up there again. I already counted you. And he pushes him back out because he knows. He knows. I thought that was so bad.
Yeah.
Like, and I wonder if they did that on purpose. Like, it makes me wonder if they did it that way on purpose.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't
know.
But it's not very well thought out.
Yeah, no, it's not real well thought out there. No, that was, but you know, it's an interesting movie with how they show those things. Like I said early on, they're willing to kill. They're indiscriminate. It does show the resolve of these bad guys. It's kind of a refreshing quality in a movie to finally see bad guys who live up to what they tell you they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's when dude gets beat by the laser pointer or whatever the antenna. It looks like an antenna, but I think it's a pointer. It looks like a car antenna.
It's a pointer.
It's a pointer, but it's kind of hard. It looks like a car. It's like a metal one it's retractable, like a car antenna used to be.
It's a prehistoric teaching tool.
A prehistoric teaching tool, much like chalk and a chalkboard is now today.
You're going to learn one way or the other. You're going to remember what I'm pointing at, or I'm going to fucking whip you with it.
And he whipped him for being late. Isn't that amazing? But, you know, obviously he was up to no good, but they didn't know that.
It wasn't that. No, he whipped him for having no discipline.
Well,
then he's
being
being
late is no discipline.
Shit, but he's being a smart ass and stuff, not taking it seriously.
Yeah. Do you really
think have no discipline, do you?
Here's the thing on that, though, and I was thinking about this. Do you think this movie was trying to have him have discipline after that experience and in a fucked up way, saying that guy beating him made him a better person?
No, that had nothing to do with it.
You don't think that guy beating him kind of helped him straighten up to where he's going to follow through on his plans and make sure? Like, you don't think
he was going to do that in the first place? That's why he fucking risked his life to sneak out of there and came up with this whole fucking plan. It had nothing to do with getting whipped.
I don't know. I think that in a fucked up way, it was not a good way to do it, but it helped him become a different type of person.
I don't think so at all.
You know, I don't know. I
think the whole situation is what did it.
Toy Soldiers 2, all I'm saying is that dude's a different guy, and he's dealing with an undisciplined person, and somehow that dude's going to get fucked up too.
No.
That's my thoughts.
Nope.
Oh, man. No. Now, I do have this. I find it interesting that this movie makes me like mob tactics when they finally kill Louise's father.
Yeah.
And I still want to commend the actual commitment to showing the cuts, you know, the bullet holes, all that shit. I want to say that when you saw the father from Dirty Dancing in that order, how could you not be like, yes, and see that follow through? Did you like kind of have a little bit of joy when his father got killed? Like, yeah, you ain't getting what you want, motherfucker. Like, didn't you have that feeling in you?
No, but I appreciate a good shanking.
You didn't think that was a good thing?
What do you mean?
That them killing his father in prison?
No, I'm not saying it was. I'm just saying, like, he had to make a choice.
You know, I was going to say, it didn't, yeah. Because, you know, I'm sure you have a 6-pack or something around this scene anyways. But
no, I don't.
With Will Wheaton. You don't? Okay, well, I do.
No.
I have a generic. Okay. I want to pull it up right now. And because reason we get to see that death is because his son, they brokered a deal. His father brokered a deal to get his son out. And when Will Wheaton is told that, he gets all pissy, knocks a guy over, grabs a machine gun, and goes out like he's fucking Rambo and can't handle it.
Right, which was dumb.
And gets gunned down. And I thought that was kind of generic. that whole death scene. I thought
Yeah.
because it was dumb. It didn't seem like he said that earlier, but his friends talked him off that ledge, so it didn't make sense to the scene. It didn't make sense to what he'd already learned in the movie. Like he would not have done that, in my opinion. I think that's why it's generic. I think it was out of character. I think he could have died, maybe just a different way,
Which way?
or someone else die. I don't
He
care.
was the hothead that was like, with a fucking machine gun, we could take those guys. Like,
He was also
literally
the guy that
thought-
was just interested in sleeping and dreaming about girls and beating off. So it's kind of hard to think he's a hothead when he's doing that. So that's what I'm saying. It's just kind of generic. Maybe the character's generic. Maybe that's
here's the thing. And they've been stuck in this school now. They're kidnapped. He probably hasn't had a chance to jerk off in a couple of days. And he's probably going fucking nuts.
His
He's got
nuts
the
are going
baby
nuts.
batter on the brain.
He's got the baby batter on the brain. Oh,
That's what happened.
Gotta clear the pipes, right?
Got backed up.
That's something about Mary, right?
You give me a machine gun, I kill these guys, and I can finally fucking whack off again. Give me that phone sex tape. Where is it? Where's that cassette?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but I just thought it was generic. You didn't think it was generic at all?
Oh, it's not a generic for me, but whatever. No, my other six pack I didn't say earlier. The whole scene where Sean Astin sneaks out and then gets back in.
Yeah, that's a good scene.
That was a good one.
That was a good scene, and that's why I said I just don't like I wish in some of these movies that they would focus more on the things that would have made it good. And I think that's our hindsight gives us that, right? Like,
Isn't
like
that
I'm watching-
about a lot of movies though?
Yeah, but in that scene, like if they would have let him go, like, and maybe used him in some way, maybe gave him something to help him, and then kind of develop the uprising within the school more rather than trying to disrupt it. He could still be late. He could still get whacked, right? But then it would have paid off because he'd have got something they could use, or and they could have done add more wrinkles and things.
I'll tell you why. Because had that happened, this is a less believable movie. Not that it's believable, but
I'll just say that's why
I'm going to tell you right now, it's less believable because if that had happened in this movie at this point in time, we're reviewing this movie, you would have said that's not believable because adults don't fucking listen to kids.
I guess. Well, these guys are like seniors though. He's like
even more so reason not to listen to him.
Yeah, but Louis Gossett Jr.'s character said he trusts him, and if he says it and he believes that he said it, like he knows if he says he can do something, he will.
Louis Gossett is a civilian.
I guess they don't give a shit
still not
about
going to
him.
listen to him either.
Okay.
They have protocols to follow.
I guess so. But really what this comes down to is the last so many minutes of the movie, right? The whole assault is what I like to say. Did you have some more?
Yeah, before the whole assault going on, my other six pack.
Go ahead.
The prehistoric drone.
Oh, that was cool. It wasn't a drone.
It's a six pack / generic. The fucking chip switching.
Yes.
So, are you telling me in theory that this 4-pound, 2-inch chip is the same one on his wrist that would detonate the bombs? Yeah. This high-tech fucking chip, not from Radio Shack.
To be fair, it was the one there's a sender chip inside the thing. If that's the receiver chip, the receiver chip is in the equipment is the same size as what he said, not.
I know, but I just love that. This is hacker shit right here.
Yeah, the little, to be honest, Yogurt should have been down there doing that work, not Billy. Yogurt should have been the one, because if he understands it that well and he's that good with it,
He should have, because also he could fit through the ventilation better.
Yeah, he could have. I agree, and I think they should have more than one person back in the room.
He's too timid, probably too wussy to pull that off. As far as jumping up and get himself back up,
probably just a sophomore or a freshman.
He could have jumped up to get back in the vent.
Yeah. Well, Duke could put his arm down and pulled him up. That's fine.
Go tandem.
I mean, I just think. Well, I'm gonna give you a generic about that whole scene, anyways. What terrorist is washing his hands that long and then wiping off his face when he has a job to do? Like, he's not in there to, make friends or look nice. He's there to, I felt that was a little bit too staged.
It depends where those hands have been.
We know where they've been.
So you wash them.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Okay. I just think that was a little bit too forced. Like you knew, just turn the water off, and then it's like the water's still on because the guy's washing his hands. Oh, I mean, whatever. That's kind of forced. But they fight the guy and take his gun.
When
I
you
guess.
think about it, now these terrorists, they're on their post almost 24/7. When you get a chance to wash your hands, you don't know when the next chance is going to come. So you wash your fucking hands.
You're right. And there's only 12 of them, right?
Right.
Total. So, yeah. It's not like they have 24 guys switching off and on and things like that. They should have brought more guys is what it comes down to. It's a poorly executed plan. Yep.
Remember, they weren't anticipating what they found out.
True. They had to change because a contractor's son is worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. I forgot the jobs their parents had. Bank president and vice chairman of the Republican National Committee, Defense Department person, Armed Services Committee. The funny thing is they mention all that stuff, but that is never the leverage that is used, implicitly. No one says, get a hold of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the Armed Services Committee or, whatever.
Yeah. And that's the thing. At this point, these terrorists, they've got all these other kids now. You got a lot of fucking leverage.
Yeah, they really didn't leverage it very well.
This is at this point, this is where you're naked pictures of B. Arthur, a football helmet filled with cottage cheese, a PRS guitar with a dragon inlay. This is when you make your fucking demands.
Is that Airheads?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Fucking Airheads. Yeah, that would be, they could have done a little more, I think. And the president, though, to be fair, the president did say give them what they want. And they fucked up by shooting Trotta.
Yes.
So
if you're in this position, or Airheads, what's on your list? Demand anything you want.
In 91?
Anytime.
I want a DeLorean replica of the Back to the Future car.
Remember, you've got to include stuff that you can plead guilty by insanity later.
Kathy Ireland in the passenger seat.
Cardboard stand-up of Tiny Tim and his ukulele.
A chimpanzee driving the car. A popcorn maker. But I don't want it making popcorn. I just want it empty. I think I have some great shit. I'd have some good stuff, fun stuff.
Nacho cheese dispenser filled with toothpaste.
You're going, yeah. I don't know if I could go too crazy. Maybe I'm just not that crazy. A pair of running shoes with salsa in them, and a sombrero with the chips. Yes, there you go. And and I want to say
a small person wearing the sombrero.
Oh yeah, we want to do it just like Johnny Be Good. Have a midget or whatever you say. Little person is what you said. I should use that nomenclature last episode. But he was the smallest version of that.
So, that's a decent list.
Yeah, that is a decent list. I don't know. I never thought about that, but I've never thought about making demands. Two Harleys and 2 emus.
You make demands.
And I'm going to ride one of them out.
That's bullshit.
I'm going to ride an emu, motherfucker.
No, you want the Charger from Fast and Furious. That would be your demand.
I would say the Charger, the Skyline GTR that Paul Walker drove would be nice. That would be nice. Yeah. Quit being that guy. Okay.
That's what you would want.
Now, I want to get into a comparison I was trying to make earlier, because you can't help, to me, I can't, I don't know, maybe you can't too, is help but compare this to Taps or Red Dawn.
Yeah.
I know they have different plots, but they are all put upon kids that have been put upon is the central theme. But to me, the difference between this and those two is that those two had more heart and better actors, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
They had in this one, the kids aren't the best performers, and I think it's the bad guy. Luis Cali, I think, plays the best performance. He is a bad dude. He does bad things, shoots people in the head, and even takes a shot in the head. I mean, he's a bad dude. But I just can't help but compare him. Do you feel that way? Do you feel that this lacked the heart of those movies?
It's just a very Red Dawn-ish type of film, for sure.
I think the problem with this movie is that it came out in 91. That's the first thing. And I think we were kind of getting over the America fuck yeah, invaders type of movie.
I totally disagree with that because I don't think people ever get over that. People that are like that, and they always will be.
Well, that's why it made a little bit more than it cost to make it. But my thing is, I think this movie, if it comes out in 87 or 88 or 89, I think it would have been better received. I think it does double the money, triple the money.
I think, but then this is why I think Top Gun does so well. They're great movies, but also you have unnamed enemies, so you don't have to worry about that part of it.
Yeah. It's about the characters and their struggle and what they overcome. Mm-hmm. This didn't really have this got too lost in the details. I just think it just didn't feel like a 90s movie. It felt and it had too many rich kids to care about them. Like, that's the other thing. Yeah. You don't identify with these characters. It's not like School Ties.
Yeah.
Where you identified with the character in there.
You've got this school full of kids. What is it? 92 kids, I think.
Yeah, 92. Well, 92 people, not necessarily all kids. 92 people,
yes. Mostly kids. But you don't know anything about them other than just the handful you're dealing with. So, yeah, other than it's just kids at a school that are in trouble.
They could have probably gotten farther if
the other ones, it's like, other than Sean Astin. Do you really care about anybody other than Sean Astin in this movie?
Well, and even then, because his dad's a rich guy, it's kind of hard. And my point is, maybe Sean Astin could have been the one kid risking his life for everyone, but he's the poor kid. Like, why isn't he the one that's there? Like,
that would have been a good twist.
That's my thought. Like this it lost the heart, and I think they could have added heart, and it would have made it a little better. But I think as it is, if it would have came out in 87 or 88 or maybe even 89. I think people eat this up and it does 50, 60 million instead of 20 million.
More heart, less boners.
Yeah.
Right now, that's my other generic I'm sorry. I don't need to see them all stand around in their underwear in their dorm room either.
No, I was going to say that. Was that a generic of yours?
Again, if I am sleeping in the same room with other people, I'm wearing pajama bottoms.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. That's just too many hairy topless guys and people walking around in their underwear.
Too much leg.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Does that have you given all your 6 packs?
I gave all my stuff, I think.
Okay. I got the last generic that I have is it just never felt right, and I think I got that point across with that one thing I was just talking about. But I also had my last 6 pack is Louis Gossett Jr. always plays this type of role well. He always, like Chappie and Iron Eagle, and he was in The Principal with Jim Belushi. He always plays this type of role pretty well.
He does.
So I got to give him props he's like the principal or like in our last one we did, he's like the coach in Johnny Be Good. That guy always plays the dick leadership role. This guy always plays the mentor with the wisdom role very well. Mm-hmm. That's his thing. Was his thing. I don't know what he does now. I don't know what he does. I haven't seen a movie by him in a while. It's been a while. But let me see here. Do I have anything else? I don't. Do you have anything else about this movie?
Did I give all my 6 packs? I gave the scope and the prehistoric drone and the whole Sean Astin sneaking out and back into school. So yes, I gave.
Yes, you gave all your 6-packs.
Yep.
Yeah, and I gave mine because I was down with the phone sex, just not the lack of boners. Seemed like it must not have been as good as they were reacting to it. That's all I'm saying. All right, so
Wow.
so we're to memorabilia, man. What do you want from this movie? What's your thing? Is it the prehistoric drone? Is Arlie Ermey's hat? What is it?
I want the tape recorder from Radio Shack.
That was not a tape recorder. That was a speaker for you,
No,
so
it
you
was
can
a
make your
cassette
phone into a
recorder.
speaker. It was a speaker, so you can
It
turn
was
it
a
into a
cassette
speaker.
recorder.
That was not a
He was
cassette recorder.
recording it too.
Was he? I didn't know he was
I'm
recording.
pretty sure it was a cassette recorder.
I am
It was a speaker.
99.9% certain it was just a speaker to turn your phone into a speaker phone. But
Either way, I
wa-
want that.
I was going to say, I'm going to tell you what I want, and then I'm going to tell you another thing I might have wanted, and I'll tell you what it is. First thing is a bottle of hooch. I want a bottle of his hooch
No, you don't.
for my
You would not
collection.
like
I
that.
do for my collection.
What collection? You don't have a collection.
I
of
do.
foods. You have a collection of outdated Mike's Hard Lemonade in your fridge in the garage that you
It's
never
a
drink.
collection, whether
That's
you
all
like
you
it or
fucking
not.
have.
It's my collection.
That's all you have. And then your wife has a bunch of liquors in the fridge that don't actually go in the fridge. That's your guys' fridge in your garage.
I do want a bottle of hooch so I can serve it to you whenever you come over. But the second thing that I was going to tell you that I almost went for, the phone that he has that he connects to the wires and so he can do the phone sex.
The Zach Morris phone?
Do you know what that's actually called? Do you know what they call those? They're held by field technicians who work on phone lines. Do you know what they call them?
No.
They're called butt phones because they hang off their butts. Typically, you'll see them hanging off their butts. So the butt phone, I wouldn't mind having the butt phone.
You want butt phones and boners in this movie.
I
can't believe you wouldn't want the drone. Or it's not a drone, but still.
No, I wouldn't want that piece of shit. It doesn't barely flies, and it turned into a helicopter in the room when he hit his button. I mean, it didn't fly like with airfoil.
Yeah,
and
every time I see, I look at that thing, I'm like, that thing would that have flown?
You have to be able to achieve airfoil and lift, and I don't know. I don't think it achieved lift. I think it had thrust, but no lift. Let's put it that way. That's kind of like your sex life. You have a little bit of thrust, but no lift.
We're not going there today.
Okay, because you're.
Don't make me. Dude,
you're missing both. I don't know.
Don't make me go down that road with you.
I don't. What are you going to do? Show me how it works? Hey, I need you to give us your score.
Let's not have that discussion
When that pool table arrives tomorrow, maybe you and I should get down.
about whose sex life is what. Because you're looking for boners and toy soldiers.
I was just seeing a scientific study. If if no one is aroused by the content, it's either because they're in a group and they're feeling a little apprehensive about the scenario, or they really aren't aroused by it, right?
Again, now it's even worse because you're looking for teenage boners under the pretense of scientific research.
So anyway, I wanted to see if the movie was giving good continuity for teenage boys getting off to a woman
you wanted
talking
to see
hot.
if it was giving good cock nudity.
Whatever. Don't be a dick and give us your score.
Give us a dick is what you're saying. Give more dick in this movie.
Is
I
your
want more
score
dick in this movie?
If your score is a dick, yes, I want that dick. But if it's not, go.
And again, here you go. See, and this is what scares me. Your sex life. Are you picturing me? It scares me, man. I'm scared for you. Anyway, so aside from my co-host's lack of dick and boners in this movie, I do enjoy this movie. Obviously, there's plot holes in it. There's things you can definitely criticize. Kind of like he said too. Maybe if it came out a few years before or even after, maybe if this came out after Desert Storm, I don't know. Maybe it would have done better at the box office. I have no idea. They could have had Toy Soldier trading cards right along with Desert Storm trading cards. I don't know. But I do enjoy this movie. It's the plot and stuff is fairly lame. But again, it's just one of those I like. I will give it 17.5 because I just like this movie.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm not. I like this movie.
Kidding me?
It's one of those I fucking like it.
People, That is a tragedy. He's
I
not being
fucking
honest
like it.
with the quality of the movie.
Yes,
He's
I
not.
am. I like it. I enjoy it. It's got actors that I really like.
You can enjoy it and understand that it's not good.
I'm not saying that. Like, here's the thing. Okay.
It can be just okay
No,
and
no,
be
no,
enjoyable.
But what this movie is one of those when when you watched it, it's like you're picturing yourself as Sean Astin. Like, what would I do here in this?
That's a good thing I watched it for the first time yesterday.
Right, because you can't picture yourself as Sean Astin
You're right.
at
Thank you.
all. 'Cause
Thank
you're not
you.
a jock. You're not a jock.
I'm not a loser digging a pool in my backyard either. Hey, this movie, I'm going to go into my review here.
Hey, Stacy. Things have changed since high school.
This movie was okay. I don't feel there was anything special about it. It's entertaining, but not a home run. Maybe it's Austin who is so-so,
Astin. There's no
whatever
you.
fuck you call him.
Astin.
Maybe it's not getting over the Raiders guy being in it. It's just missing something. I don't know. It's missing something. Maybe it's the heart that I was mentioning earlier. Maybe if it had a little more of that. But my heart wasn't in this one. So it's just average to me, which is 12 cans. It's an average movie.
Average because there's no boners.
Well, one boner would have made it 1 point more. How about that?
See, there you go. He would have gone point per boner.
And if it was my own boner, 2 points. I didn't get one. There you go.
Yes, you did. Fucking liar.
I wish. I mean, hey, I would love to be aroused by a movie. I might score it higher.
Just don't lie. You got aroused by phone sex.
So what is it, 14 and a half or something like that?
15.75.
You and your dumbass score. Tell me what it's near that it doesn't have any business being near.
Oh, I don't know. We've got
You
it
have-
over Halloween. The original is 14.
And what did I score that one?
10.
Yeah, I was more entertained by this. That makes sense. While I appreciate what Halloween started, I don't think that movie was as entertaining as it was trend setting.
14. Men in Black 2, 13 and a half.
Ooh, my daughter will hate us for that one. What did
Billy
she score?
Madison- Huh?
What did she score Men in Black 2?
16.
Yeah, she will hate you for your dumbass scores.
That's all good. Billy Madison, 14.
They're about, I think Billy Madison's probably around a little less than this.
Here's a good one. Waiting. 14.25.
And what did I score it?
A 6. I gave it 22 and a half.
Yeah. Well, Waiting has problems now. The reason I scored
Right.
it that way, if I'd have scored it back in 1990 or 2001 or whenever it came out, probably would have had my goggles on, but now I can't not see it. I can't not see it. Like I said, there are 24 parts, but there are some
Necessary Roughness, 14.25.
better movie than this. What did I score?
Yeah,
this?
you gave
What
that
did
a 12 and a half. I gave it 16.
Yeah, I gave it a little bit better than this, so makes sense.
So,
Yeah.
Son-in-Law, 14.375.
Wow, what did I score that?
Son-in-Law, you gave 12.75.
Better than this.
I gave it a 16.
It's a better movie.
So,
It's your fault. You overinflated this. It's okay.
no,
It's a shitty movie. Everybody knows it.
I just like it.
I didn't say you don't like shit. I just said
I'm not saying it's the best movie ever, but I am entertained by this movie. I like the actors in it. And also, I like it even more now because of my fan theory that this is a Gordy story.
Well, my story for Gordy is that Will Wheaton grew out of his acting chops and was never the same. I think he was a one-hit wonder with
People
Stand
liked him
By
on
Me.
Star Trek.
What?
People liked him in Star Trek.
Sure they do, because they like Star Trek. He could be a freaking droid on Star Trek and people from Star Trek would love it. It doesn't matter.
Just saying.
He just doesn't have the acting chops as he grew up that he did for that one movie.
But see, that's why he killed himself off in his story. called
River
Toy
Phoenix,
Children.
we saw him grow as an actor, unlike Will Wheaton. And he would have been a much bigger celebrity. He already was when he died. So I'm just saying, Will Wheaton, this is not a role that I would say, yay, good job, because it wasn't that great.
Do you think River Phoenix ever would have done a superhero movie?
Yeah, I think in his older age, he might have been a bad guy or something. He was, although he kind of, well, no, actually, I think he would have been more like a Keanu Reeves type of thing. I think he would have gone down that road, but not quite as much action.
So maybe River Phoenix would have been in The Matrix?
I could have seen him doing something like that. I could see him doing thinking piece movies because he did some independent film before he died that was really acclaimed. So when you think about it, his career could have been somewhere between Keanu Reeves and Daniel Day-Lewis. Think of it that way.
Maybe.
Like where you might have some elements of things that Keanu done and be as selective and maybe done higher profile things like a Daniel Day would do.
Or he could have gotten like a Johnny Depp wave.
Like, I think, here's what I think happened.
I'll tell you right now.
What?
Could you picture River Phoenix in Pirates? As
possibly. But here's what I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm going to tell you what happened. I know what happened. When River Phoenix died, that made room for Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio isn't Leonardo if River Phoenix is still around because he wouldn't get Romeo and Juliet. River Phoenix would. I'm telling you. It would have been a different world. We'd have had a different world. I think those two were going for the same parts in a lot of movies. And I think that would have been the change that if he stays alive, we don't have Leo at the stature he is now. And, I'm not a huge fan of his anyway.
I don't know. I think it just might have gone a little differently, but I saw the thing where Christian Bale says he's only gotten roles that Leonardo DiCaprio didn't take. So, and he's had a pretty good career.
Yeah, and I think in some cases he's a better actor and a good person. So there you go. Are we ready?
I've heard he's not a good person.
No, I meant like in the movies, like he's good. I don't know.
Okay. Gotcha.
Like Leo's kind of looks smarmy all the time.
Okay.
The only movie I liked him in recently was Once Upon a Time in the West. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with
Gilbert Grape.
That's when I first saw him, and I thought he was pretty good. But then he also gave rise to the trope of playing a mentally handicapped person to go for awards. He's the one who, and then all of a sudden you saw how many actors like do Regarding Henry or whatever it was. Like there's all those Awakenings. Like you saw all these movies come out where high profile actors were trying to play mentally debilitated people. Sean Penn and I Am Sam.
Yeah.
Like to me, he gave rise to that. So I don't know if I appreciate that or not.
Pioneer.
What?
He's a pioneer.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah. He's a buccaneer. How about that? We would like to thank you for listening. We also want to remind you to join our Patreon so you can do all that cool stuff we talked about earlier of requesting movies and bonus stuff. Remember, you can go to sodapopcultureclub.com for all things related to the show, including your chance to make movie suggestions and our episode schedules there as well. We're also on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and we have a Twitch channel. Anthony does not want to let you know what the next movie is because he hates you. He does not like you.
I don't hate you. I love you all. I want you all to call some phone sex and get your boners out.
And send a picture to Anthony at sodapopcultureclub.com. He wants to see the boners. Although I think
Mike wants me to show them to him, but he doesn't want the paper trail.
Yeah. So I do want you to tell people what the next movie is because this one, I just want to let people know there are a few people in this world that Anthony just has an absolute crush on. Most of them are men, strangely. We got Rob Thomas. If Rob Thomas asked him to marry him, he would do it. Ryan Reynolds, if he asked him to marry him, he would do it. But this movie that we're doing next week has a female that at the time, if she would have asked him to marry her, he would have done it. No matter how crazy her ex-husband would have been at that moment. Do you know what this movie is?
What are we doing next week?
I Want to Run to You.
Oh, yeah. Duh.
What is it, Anthony? What are we doing?
Man, I got such a hard-on for this movie.
It's got the stuff that he wants. It has the stuff that he needs.
It does.
Come on, man. Tell him what your crush is.
Whitney Houston.
And that's The Bodyguard, buddy. We're doing it. And it's the 30th anniversary of that movie.
Man.
Are you feeling it? Do you have anything else you want to say? I'll let him go if you're
My
done.
first concert ever was Whitney Houston.
Oh.
It was.
Did you want to dance with somebody?
Oh, I did. Dirty Dancing.
Somebody who loves me.
I was in love with some Whitney Houston.
Somebody.
And then Bobby Brown got her all fucking cracked out.
So we don't know that. But we know that if, like I said,
Every
if you were
little
trying
step, and there were 12 of them.
So that is it. We will see you next week. Or you'll hear us next week.
See here, whatever. See no podcast, hear no podcast. Peace out.